Good morning, Examination Committee. I am Eva and will be presenting my master thesis titled Japan's ODA Infrastructure and Industrial Competitiveness, a comparative study of Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia from 2010 to 2023. This thesis begins with a paradox. Indonesia received the largest cumulative Japanese ODA infrastructure financing among the three chosen countries. However, its logistic performance peaked in 2018 and then declined, while Thailand and Malaysia keep improving. Three research questions guide this study. Research question 1 asks to what extent Japan's ODA contribution to infrastructure over the chosen time frame. Research question 2 asks what explains the competitiveness gap that happened, how ODA-funded investment later shaped the factual conditions behind that gap. Research question 3 asks what domestic constraints limit Indonesia's absorptive capacity to Japan's ODA, and what strategic adjustment would better support long-term industrial upgrading. No existing framework connects bilateral ODA investment, absorptive capacity mediation, and prescriptive partnership reorientation into one analytical model for the ASEAN context. This study introduced the IICP model to fill that gap. The study has three objectives, each directly aligned to one research question. The significance of this study also operates at three levels. Three frameworks explain development gaps, but only the IICP model integrates them with official development assistance. Porter's diamond model distinguishes basic factual conditions, which built by capital investment, from advanced factual conditions, which require institution and human capital, and it was found that ODA only builds basic conditions. Dunning's OLI paradigm separates endowment advantages such as resources and market size from capability advantages such as logistics and cluster that attracts high-touch investment. Narula and Marin focus on four absorptive capacities: institutions, policy, human capital, and ecosystem depth. The IICP model organizes these frameworks into four sequential stages. Stage 1 is ODA infrastructure investment, through yuan loans and step financing. Stage 2 is the factual conditions and location advantages generated, where basic factors are built effectively by ODA, advanced factors are not. Stage 3 is absorptive capacity mediation, where Indonesia's specific constraints operate. Stage 4 is strategic partnership reorientation, the prescriptive output with a feedback loop back to stage 1 that raises the absorptive capacity ceiling for the next investment cycle. Where Porter describes, Dunning explains, and Narula and Marin diagnose, the IICP model prescribes. That prescriptive function is this study's primary theoretical contribution. This study employs a comparative case study design following George and Bennett's 2005 most similar system logic. The case selection between Indonesia, Thailand, and Malaysia were selected for their shared ASEAN membership, comparable development trajectories, and overlapping bilateral ODA relationship with Japan. 9 independent data sources were triangulated across 6 organizations. And to ensure comparative accuracy, all disbursements are reported in constant 2024 USD. While causality is not claimed, instead, structured comparison identifies the most consistent explanation after ruling out alternatives. Research question 1. Indonesia received the largest cumulative ODA infrastructure disbursement of the three countries, totaling USD 4,121.81 million between 2010 and 2023, compared with Thailand's USD 2,669 and Malaysia 29 million. Flagship step finance loans include MRT Jakarta Phase 1 and 2 and then Patimban Port Phase 1, all at near zero interest rate, embedding Japanese technical standards through the 2050s. A critical subsectoral shift occurred in 2013. Indonesia's ODA composition moved from 76% energy in 2010 to 88% transport by 2023. In Porter's terms, Javan's challenge shifted from basic to advanced factor condition development. The yen loan instrument did not evolve with that shift. This is the instrument mismatch, and it directly produced the central finding of the thesis. Indonesia's LPI score rose from 2.76 in 2010 to a peak of 3.15 in 2018, then declined to 3.0 by 2022. At the same time, Thailand reached 3.50 and Malaysia reached 3.60, both all-time highs. This cannot be explained by reduced ODA disbursement, which remains substantial. It also cannot be explained by governance decline, because Indonesia's governance improved over the same period. The explanation is the saturation point threshold, beyond which additional hardware investment alone produces diminishing competitiveness returns, because absorptive capacity has not kept pace with physical expansion. Indonesia crossed that threshold in 2018. The mechanism is confirmed directly in the LPI subdimension data. Indonesia's 2022 custom efficiency score of 2.8 is lower than its own infrastructure quality score of 2.9. Physical infrastructure exists. The institutional capacity to move goods through it efficiently does not. More hardware cannot solve a problem that is institutional in origin. This extends bond-side and dollar-aid effectiveness conditionality from a level effect to a ceiling effect. That is the study's primary original theoretical contribution. On research question 2, two independent frameworks, the World Bank LPI and WFGCI, consistently produce the same hierarchy throughout the study period. Malaysia above Thailand, above Indonesia. This convergent validity confirms genuine structural competitive differences. The IMD 2024 overall ranking shows Indonesia above Malaysia, reflecting Malaysia's near full employment and elevated labor costs that year. This is a cyclical macroeconomic factor, not a structural reversal of infrastructure competitiveness. LPI and WFGCI remain the primary indicators for this study. Indonesia's regulatory quality score overtook Thailand's in 2023, reaching 60.24 against Thailand's 56.74. The post-1997 governance weakness narrative is empirically obsolete for this comparison. The governance gap has closed. The FDI gap with Malaysia has not closed. Governance is therefore not the primary binding constraint. The binding constraints are elsewhere, and RQ3 identifies them precisely. Despite receiving 54% more Japanese ODA than Thailand, Indonesia's average FDI to GDP ratio of 1.97% over 2010 to 2024 is virtually indistinguishable from Thailand's 2.06%. This is not evidence that ODA failed. It is direct empirical evidence that absorptive capacity mediates the ODA to FDI relationship. Indonesia's weaker ecosystem capacity absorbed the productivity gains that would otherwise have translated into FDI efficiency advantages. This is the IICP model stage 3 mechanism visible in real data. Malaysia's structural outperformance at 3.35% average with fix of 4.5% in 2016 and 5.4% in 2021 reflects Penang cluster depth, skilled technical workforce, and supply chain integration that Indonesia's industrial base has not yet developed. These are capability-based location advantages in Dunning's term. Indonesia's FDI is endowment-driven, while Malaysia's peaks are capability-driven. These are structurally different types of FDI, not different quantities of the same thing. On research question 3, applying Narula and Marin's 4-dimension diagnostic to Indonesia's absorptive capacity profile. Institutional capacity is moderate, not weak. Government effectiveness converged with Thailand by 2022. The gap narrowing from 7.61 points in 2010 to near zero. Generic governance reform is therefore the wrong prescription. The remaining constraints are specific operational bottlenecks such as land acquisition delays, interministerial coordination failures, and local government maintenance gap. Human capital is genuinely weak and time-critical. Indonesia's 2020 Human Capital Index of 0.54 compares with Thailand's and Malaysia 0.61. Tertiary enrollment stands at 38% against Thailand's 43%. At the current improvement phase, convergence requires approximately 37 years. Timban Port is expanding now, and the workers needed to operate it at full capacity are currently in secondary school. The education investment pipeline must begin now. Ecosystem debt is also weak and structural. Manufacturing value added stands at 18.33% of GDP against Thailand's 27.02%, an 8.69 percentage point gap. The World Bank BRIDI 2024 insolvency framework gap of 8.98 points with Malaysia adds a long-run manufacturing investment risk dimension that cannot be addressed through the entry regulation alone. 11 analytical insights emerge across the 3 research questions. The two most analytically significant are Insight 3, the saturation point, which is the primary original theoretical contribution of this study, and Insight 7, the regulatory quality reversal, which eliminates governance as the binding constraint, redirects the analytical focus to human capital and ecosystem debt. Let me answer each research question directly. On research question 1, Japan's ODA delivered USD 4,012 million of strategically embedded infrastructure, which are real, genuine, and substantial. But Indonesia crossed the saturation point in 2018. World's peak LPI declined from 3.15 to 3.0. While Thailand reached 3.50 and Malaysia 3.60, proves hardware investment alone has hit its ceiling. Research question 2. The competitiveness gap is driven by advanced factor conditions and capability-based location advantages, not governance, which has substantially converged. The regulatory quality reversal and FDI equivalence finding together eliminate governance as the primary binding constraint. Research question 3. Binding constraints are human capital and ecosystem debt. 3 strategic reorientation follow directly from the stage 3 diagnostic. Reorientation 1, mandatory technical cooperation on ODA investment. Reorientation 2, on co-financed vocational training. And then on reorientation 3, the Patimban Port Industrial Corridor. The ICP model theoretical contribution is threefold. As an integrative contribution, first framework to synthesize Porter, Dunning, and Narula and Marin into a prescriptive bilateral ODA model for ASEAN. As a contextual contribution, the saturation point, external side, and dollar conditionality from a level effect to a ceiling effect empirically evidenced. As a prescriptive contribution, stage 4, feedback loop generates operational policy prescription that no source framework individually produce. 4 limitation acknowledged in this thesis. Japan's ODA has built the infrastructure. The next generation of partnership must build the capacity to use it. Thank you for watching.